I'm sorry, but what the heck was that episode, bro? That was insane. That was crazy. Okay, there were three things that happened in this episode that took me by surprise. I already know people are going to be talking about this, but I took away these three things because I thought these three things were very important. Number one being a very nice callback to Return of the Jedi. I don't know if anybody caught that, but Dustin was talking about an energy shield and how the rebels were trying to get and destroy the second Death Star, and they couldn't because it was an energy shield around the Death Stars, and they couldn't do that. He was saying that in correlation to what if Vecna used his sorcery magic powers and created this sort of energy shield around the lair that he has these kids in. And the only way to do that is essentially to break the energy shield, go inside the energy shield, go inside the lair then to save the kids, and that'd be the only way to save Holly. I thought that was a very cool kind of nod to Star Wars because Star Wars and Stranger Things always have a correlation. The Duffer Brothers talk about that a lot in this show, and that they have a lot of similarities, especially in this season, with Eleven's growth and her powers being like somebody's growth in the Force and their powers and things like that. So I thought that was a very cool nod to Star Wars. Also, we learned about Dr. K. I'm sorry. She's trying to take the blood from Eleven and Callie, specifically Callie, to then infuse it into pregnant ladies, to then restart the program that Papa had with the experiments that Eleven and Henry were in. What is going on? Bro, did no one know that that wasn't the key before? Did you not think that that was gonna work again? Like, that obviously didn't work. It obviously was a failed experiment. So you just, oh, okay, what are we gonna do? We're gonna retry it again, because obviously if it didn't work the first time, it's gonna work the second time. No, dummy. No. Insanity is trying to do the same thing over and over and trying to get a different result. If it didn't work before, it's not gonna work now. Obviously, Eleven and Henry and Callie are exceptions. Like, they don't count, okay? Because it worked in them, but it's not in every other kid. It's not gonna work like that in every other kid. And especially if you're trying to take the blood from Callie and infuse it, that's gonna kill them. That's gonna kill them. What is wrong with you? No. I don't like her character in this show. That's something that I took away from this episode as well. I don't like her character. I don't like her character in this show. I despise her. Every time she's on my screen, I know she's amazing. She's an amazing actress. But I'm like, Dr. K, bro, I wanna do stuff to you and harm you in a bad way. Also, anytime that Jonathan, Nancy, Steve, Dustin are on screen, it cracks me up, especially when you see Jonathan and Steve fighting over Nancy. Because literally, like, Nancy is just there, existing. And Steve is like, this is my time to swoop back in. I want Nancy. And Jonathan's like, hey, buddy, that's my girlfriend. What are you doing? And then Dustin's just there like, guys, would you please focus on the mission? And Nancy is like, I'm about to slap the both of y'all if y'all don't stop. Like, that's essentially what's going on right now. And I just like how it's essentially, they were trying to come up with a plan and be like, oh, okay, let's pick teams. And Jonathan was like, let's stay with the team that we have. Like, I'll go with you since you want to go with Nancy. And he was like, let's switch it up. I don't want to be with Dustin. Dustin's like, I don't want to be with Steve either anymore. I'll go with Nancy. Jonathan's like, how about I go with you? Because that's my girl. Are you crazy? No, you're not going with her. And Nancy was like, how about we just stick to the teams before and everybody just go along with the plan and find what we came here to look for. Bro, it is hilarious to me that Jonathan and Steve are having like this little budding like rivalry, macho, I'm trying to win my girlfriend back, I have a girl, that's my girlfriend. Bro, Nancy's like, could you please, it just cracks me up. Also, something that I also noticed in this, people might think that he's being mean, but I honestly think Steve is being right. I think Steve is right. I think this season in particular, I think Dustin's character arc really is affected by what happened to Eddie in season 4. And you obviously can see that. He talked a lot about in a specific scene that they had where they were just having it out. Dustin was like, the thing that's different between you and Eddie, he knew that he had flaws, but he was okay with having flaws. He acknowledged them, like, hey, I'm not a perfect person. You essentially, he was telling Steve, you try to be like this perfect, jockey, like cocky guy, and it never pans out. That's why no one seems to like you, because you have flaws, but you're too macho, you're too cocky to actually like point it out yourself and have some vulnerability to yourself. At least Eddie knew that sometimes he was wrong, and that's what made Eddie such an endearing and caring person. And Steve said something to Dustin that I'm not gonna lie, dude. I know we love Eddie a lot, but I'm like, he kind of right. He kind of right. He's kind of right. Like having it out, and he essentially tells Dustin, he's like, hey, what did I tell you guys to do? I told you not to be heroes. And what did Eddie do? He went and tried to be a hero. He went and tried to be a hero, and he died like a fool because he went and did something that I said not to do. And that's where Dustin just loses it. But in Steve's defense, Steve's 100% right. Steve's 100% right. I know we talk a lot about Eddie, and I know Eddie's a very popular character. I myself love Eddie. I love Eddie. I feel like he represents a lot of the kind of like freaks and weirdos of the world, and shows people like, hey, it's okay to be yourself, essentially, right? I know we love him a lot. But I honestly feel like Steve was right. He told him not to do something. He told him not to go and do something stupid that would jeopardize them putting their lives in danger. And he went out like a fool. Tried to be a hero. He went into a swarm of Demobats and died. It's a hard thing to say, but he's not wrong. He's not wrong for saying it. Maybe the delivery was wrong, but he's not wrong for saying it. And Dustin just freaking loses it, bro. That was the first time I actually seen like Dustin and Steve have like a actual fight, bro. Like they were fighting, and I'm like, Dustin was getting ragdolled. He was getting ragdolled. It was the first like Steve was winning. I'm not gonna lie. It was a couple times I was like, Steve, don't tell me you're about to get. Come on, bro. Don't tell me you're about to lose against Dustin. Not Dustin. Dustin punched him in the face. I was like, not Dustin, bro. Not Dustin. Not, please. Now, if you have stayed this far in the video, this is the point that I want to talk about with this episode that I think is in correlation and is similar to this thing that I saw online in this theory that I'm seeing right now with Vecna's plan and what he has. So, I had a theory going into this volume 2 of, before I even saw this theory, I had a theory saying that Vecna was going to use some sort of like black hole, right? Because people were talking about the wormhole. They were trying to figure out what was that picture that Will was talking about in the first volume and the whole thing where it kind of looked like the mind flare. I was thinking, okay, what if Vecna's going to use a black hole to suck these kids in, bring them into a different world, bring them to where the mind flare is, and then that's where he gets control and he's trying to bring that world to Hawkins, and that will be the new version and have all these kids be the foot soldiers. And yeah, okay, right, that was my theory. The theory that I'm seeing online that's gaining a lot of traction, I don't know who did this theory, but it actually is a sound theory. It's very valid, and it's similar to my theory. Like I said, I don't know who said this online, but shout out to you. This person was saying that the wormhole theory, right? What if Vecna's plan is to use a wormhole to bring whatever world that the mind flare and him are resident in, right? Bring this world to Hawkins to destroy Earth as we know it and destroy Hawkins and make like a new world with these kids being similar versions to him. And he picked 12 kids because similar to Papa, I said to myself watching this episode, I was like, he resembles a lot of Papa. If you watch the first season of Stranger Things, Papa was the person over the, I guess, department or whatever you want to call it in the government where this experiment was happening with Eleven and Henry. Henry resembles a lot of Papa in this season, specifically with these 12 kids. And I was saying, this theory lines up. It would line up very much perfectly because he's using kids. There's 12 kids. I believe there was 12 kids in the experiment that Henry and Eleven were in. He's trying to, it would make a lot of sense. So I don't know who came up with that theory, but that's one thing that I took away from this episode. That was like the major thing that I'm like, I don't know what's going to happen, but this is about to be really bad. It's about to be really bad. Really, really, really bad for Hawkins. Comment down below what you guys think of this episode. Shock Jock, did you guys like it? What are your takeaways? I want to hear you guys' thoughts, opinions, reaction in the comment section. As always, I'm John Talks. I'll see you guys in the next review. Episode 6, Escape from Kamazas. Let's go watch it. Come back. Let's talk about it. See you guys in the next one.